Good evening and welcome to a post-game show from No One Asked Us, Illini Postgame. I'm Craig. That's Logan on the other side of the screen. Thanks for joining. Give us a follow at all of our social media channels. They are on the screen in front of you if you're watching the YouTube, and in the description if you are listening to the audio versions after the fact. However you are listening, thank you for tuning in for another one of these. We appreciate it. While you are here, hit the like on the video and then also subscribe. Do both of those. That would be greatly appreciated as Logan is popping off the fireworks and giving the thumbs up to the crowd. Illinois wins 87-84 in overtime over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, a very feisty Nebraska team. But Illinois did not play their best, but they were able to continue to win at home and get a Big Ten victory. Logan, first off, how you doing? Long day yesterday, eh?
Yeah, Craig. We don't need to talk about that.
We'll touch on that at the end of the show. Recap our weekend. But what time did you wake up this morning?
I admittedly, I wish I would have slept longer. I was still up at about 9:30. But yeah, got my 6 or so hours. But I'm happy to be here. This is not exactly how I expected to spend my Sunday night, especially with about 3 minutes to go in this game. Thought, all right, I can casually move to the office and do our show, and then I can kind of just fall asleep watching the Grammys. And then all hell broke loose. And honestly, I'm not sure I'll be able to sleep tonight. So, whatever. It's a win.
It is a win. Exactly. It's to the point where every game, I don't care who they're playing. I don't care if it's who's the worst team in the Big Ten. Michigan, maybe right now. Michigan comes to Champaign in a couple weeks. I don't care if we win that game by one. Just win the games at this point to continue to get on the left column of the record instead of the right. So I thought I had the stats pulled up. Don't have them quite up yet, but it is a overtime victory, 87-84. Illini had 4 in double figures, led by Coleman Hawkins with 20. Wow, I didn't realize that. Coleman scores 20, Marcus Domask 19, Terrence Shannon 18, Quincy Guerrier with 12. Tai Rodgers had 8. Dane Danger had an important 6 points tonight, and Justin Harmon had 4. Tai Rodgers was a monster on the boards. 14 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds for him. Quincy and Coleman each have 7. Luke Goody had 8 boards tonight as well. 5 assists for Marcus, 5 assists for Coleman. So a good 27-5 for Coleman tonight. He was excellent. Rebounding wise, as a team, Illinois just there's no other word than dominated. 50-33. Rebounding margin for the Illini. So that was a huge part of the game today. Both teams shot low 40 percentage, 43% for Nebraska, 41 for Illinois, but Nebraska did shoot 43% from the 3 while Illinois shot 26%. So that was a big difference in the game there as well. Nebraska was led by Keisei Tominaga, 31, career high 31 for him. 9 of 14 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, and did not miss a free throw, 8 of 8. And then Rink Mask, a fellow MVC transfer with Marcus Domask, had a really good 12 points tonight. Did I miss any team stats that are important? I feel like rebounding was the story.
It was. You mentioned that Tominaga didn't miss a free throw. Nebraska didn't miss a free throw. Nebraska they shot less. They shot less than half of what Illinois shot at the free throw line, but they were 14 for 14 from the stripe. No, I mean I think the rebounding was the biggest thing there, but they still needed 1 or 2 more to really feel comfortable with this game. Had they just snagged another rebound or 2 in there, might have been over. Half hour ago.
Yeah, so the story of the game was, like you just mentioned, with 3:29 left, Illinois was up 72-62. Illinois went on what kind of run was that? I don't know how big of a run that was, but they went on a bit of a run to go up by 10, and I'm pretty sure Brad called timeout, right?
He did. Yeah, he did. And it's one of those things that I didn't really think about in the moment. I was like, This is one of those games it's a lazy Sunday night. Like I was paying attention to the game, but like I wasn't like super into everything. They had a good lead, like I was just comfortable. So I wasn't really thinking about the timeout at the time that it happened. But then later on I see everybody's tweeting about it. I'm like, oh wait, I guess that did happen at a weird, strange time that ended up really turning the momentum around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact run it was, but
Terrence hit a 3. So it was trying to look. It was
the timeout was at the 3:27 mark. Illinois was up 72-62.
It wasn't like a big spurt, but Illinois did get up 10. There was a couple threes. There was back-to-back threes, I think. Terrence hit a 3. Terrence hit another 3. Coleman hit a 3. That's what it was. Terrence hit a 3 with 5:09 left. Coleman hit a 3 with 4:07 left. And Terrence hit another 3 with 3:29 left. And Brad immediately calls timeout with 3:27. 8 seconds later, out of the timeout and the media timeout, Tominaga hits a 3, gets back, gets a layup on the fast break, and within like a minute, within 30 seconds, it's a 5-point game, and then it just snowballed from there. And Illinois stopped executing offensively and let Nebraska get back in it. Marcus Domask had a chance to win it at the free throw line with 3 seconds left?
Yeah.
And missed the second of 2 free throws, so we went to overtime. And I about had a heart attack. We'll just say that. Carl in here, Masked had 22. Yeah, I was reading. If I said 12, that's my bad. I was reading the stats, and someone else on their team had 12. So, yeah, Masked had 22 for them. We can just jump right here since we just kind of touched on it. Adam B. No coaching by Brad down the stretch. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I don't fully agree because they were running stuff. It wasn't all isolation, but what they were running was like dribble weave outside the arc, and they weren't like looking to penetrate. And then I think Hummel said it on the broadcast. I thought Terrence settled for a couple shots late.
Yeah, I don't think this was Brad Underwood's best game. I think the early technical was weird. Granted, I don't exactly know what was happening. I was watching that while in the passenger seat of a car, so I wasn't totally.
Did you see Twitter
right now?
No, during
the game. Apparently, something about the ref cursed at him or something.
Apparently the ref said something to Brad, and Brad said he cussed at him, and he's like, "You can't do that to me." Like, and he got pissed. So I'm curious what he said. I don't know if anybody knows what he said.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a weird technical.
Yeah, that was weird, and then the timeout was weird, and then some of the decisions down the stretch, and some of it you can't necessarily put on him. The players still have to make the decisions, but
that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like this was. And Brad has been commonly criticized across the fan base as not being the best in-game manager, in-game coach. So like it's nothing new, but yeah, I certainly don't think this was his best game as a head coach. I don't think he was the reason that they fell apart. But I don't think he helped the situation, especially the time.
That's kind of where I'm at, where I don't think he necessarily did anything to hurt the outcome the final 3 minutes. I just think the players kind of got a little lazy and didn't execute and let Nebraska back in. On the other bench, I think Hoiberg has really come into his own. If we didn't notice it already, because he had that failure with the Bulls, and Nebraska. This is the first. He's been there for 4 years now, I think, and the last 3 haven't been great. But this team's not very good, and he's got them playing very well. This whole game, after Tominaga had 12 points in the first 5 minutes or whatever. From then on, my entire mindset was he's the only good player on that team. Just don't let him shoot. Let anybody. I would be happy if anyone else took a shot, even Mast. Let him take all the shots. Garrett, Tominaga is the only guy that can make anything. And this team is 16-6 now, 16-7 now, and even Tominaga has been playing terrible. So what Hoiberg's doing over there is I'm very impressed with. I hadn't watched a ton of Nebraska before today. I did watch the Purdue game, and I think the Wisconsin game when they beat Wisconsin in Lincoln. But I did have a stat that I looked up, and I was nervous to say anything publicly. I think I sent it to Aaron Bennett. I sent it to Aaron Bennett Friday night. The Big Ten home and road splits for Nebraska. Have you looked at those?
I know they're incredible at home and terrible on the road.
But I don't know what tonight.
You're talking about specifically.
This is not including anything from tonight. They were 6-5 in the Big Ten. All 6 of their wins were at home. All 5 of their losses were on the road. Their average margin of victory at home in those 6 wins is 11.17 points. Their average margin of defeat on the road is 14.4. So they're killing people at home and getting slaughtered on the road. Now, tonight, obviously, they played really well. Tominaga shot lights out. Mast was very good. So this was not a typical Nebraska performance. But coming into tonight, I was looking, and it was just polar opposites for this Nebraska team.
Yeah, that's been their MO this year. They play really well at home, but they cannot do anything on the road.
What should we talk about first player-wise? Is it Coleman? Let's talk about Coleman because I know you were in the car.
I was for the first like 8 to 10 minutes of the game. I was kind of in and out.
Let me pull up real quick. I'm gonna pull up the stats that they brought up about Coleman. Game, if I can find it. The numbers with him on the floor and not on the floor were just jarring, and I don't know if it recorded it. I don't think it did. But when he's not on the floor, this is a completely different offense, and his stats show it tonight. Obviously, 27-5. But still, every game I feel like you leave thinking that his antics might not outweigh his performance sometime. There was it was late in the game. There was a call on Illinois had the ball in the second half, and he didn't get the call, and he just turned around and was talking to the ref. And meanwhile, Nebraska's going on a fast break behind him. Like, what? I know you don't agree with everything, but get back, dude.
It's the full Coleman Hawkins experience. We've been seeing it for years. He has dramatically and drastically improved his game, but he still does stupid things like that. He is very vocal. He wears wears everything on his sleeve. His emotions are on his sleeve. He's going to give you everything he thinks. And that's who he has always been, and that's who he always will be. But you still can't deny 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah, I mean he's
shooting the ball well too.
He's shooting the ball. 4 for 7 from 3, 7 for 13 from the field. Was in there that end. I think Terrence actually got that steal at the end, but he was right there to recover that. He's a pain in the ass at times. I get that, and I know everybody thinks the same way, but he's a very valuable player on this team.
Shooting wise, we were just talking. Terrence Shannon was 3 for 10. Coleman Hawkins was 4 for 7. The rest of the team combined to go 2 for 17 from behind the arc. Cody was 0 for 6. Justin Harmon was 0 for 4.
Yeah.
Quincy hit one late. That was huge. Maybe in overtime. And Marcus hit one earlier in the game. 2 more that I want to call out from the chat. Jeff, love watching Tai play. Guy just goes up and gets it on the glass. Yes. Yes. I don't know how else to say it. Yes. He means a lot to this team. And I know people are upset about the Ty Rodgers point guard experience or experiment. And no, it's not great, but I feel like Marcus Domask has become the point guard of this team.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider Ty Rodgers a point guard anymore, and you need him on the floor. 8 points, 3 of 5 from the field. His free throws have been okay. He was 2 for 4 tonight, but his free throws have improved. But 14 rebounds, 5 offensive. I mean, it's hard to duplicate. He was -5 in the plus minus, but he is very valuable to this team.
He's been a totally different player since the Purdue game. Granted, there's been a couple games since then where I don't feel like he got the minutes he deserved or should have had for whatever the reason. I don't know. But when he has been on the floor, he has been one of Illinois' 2 or 3 best players night in and night out. Yeah, he's not going to light it up from a scoring standpoint, 8 points tonight, but 14 rebounds. I mean, that's just I mean, whatever position he is, even if you're calling him your point guard, that's 14 rebounds for your point guard.
Yeah.
2 or however many assists, couple assists, like he's too valuable. He is out there and he is I don't want to I don't is he the heart of this team? Is he the heart and soul of this team? I mean, that doesn't make him the best player on the team.
Yeah,
but
I think if
does
Brad
he make them click?
It would be tough between him and Coleman, but I think Ty gets the edge because of Coleman's antics. I think if Brad could duplicate one player and have 5 of those players, I think it couldn't be Ty because he's offensively challenged.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can only have one Ty out there at the time.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I every game I check the analytics on the page. We just talked about how good Coleman Hawkins game was. He was 23 in efficiency. That's the one that totals the good and subtracts the bad. Mm-hmm. Ty Rodgers was 24. So for as good as Coleman played statistically at 26,
yeah,
Ty was at 24 right behind him. Marcus was 17. Terrence was 10 because he missed so many shots. And then game score was 19.7 for Coleman and 15.2 for Ty. So analytically, a very great game. The next one I wanted to touch on was from Jay, and this was brought up in the
group chat.
Why was Harmon still in the game late? He was having a brutal game. The main issue is why is he inbounding the ball? He's the smallest guy on the floor.
Yeah.
And I know you probably want Coleman on the to receive potentially an inbound pass so he could maybe shoot the free throws. But I feel like Coleman's the perfect guy to inbound the ball. He's 6'10". He can see over basically whoever they put to guard the ball. And he makes good decisions most of the time. I did not love – maybe it's just because, there were a couple issues where they were almost turnovers there. So we're not talking about Justin and inbounding the ball or having a brutal game if those plays don't happen. But I just don't feel like Justin Harmon's the right guy for that spot.
No, I agree. And there I saw a comment so I think Michael said that Brad mentioned it, that they're going to be working on some late game and some side out plays. So I imagine they will maybe rework that. I agree. He's not the guy for that position. I don't necessarily have a problem with him being on the floor in late game situations. I do think he is one of your better free throw shooters. If that's what the situation leads to. I think he is. There are some guys that you can have that provide more offensively and some guys that provide more defensively. And Justin Harmon, I feel like, is a good middle ground in situations where you can kind of trust him on both sides of the ball a little more than maybe you can trust some others. So maybe that's part of the reasoning. Plus, I just think Brad likes have him out there because he's a fifth-year kid.
Fifth-year guy,
and we saw that. That was the comment we made back in the Kansas exhibition game. Who was on the court at the end of the game? It was the guys it was the 27-year-olds that were out there.
Sure.
I think that's part of it too. I just think Brad just trusts him because he's older, he's more experienced, he's been in situations. He may not be the most talented player on the roster, but I think he has still earned Brad's trust and he wants him out there. But I agree. He does not need to be in that position on the floor.
To go along those lines, Jordan Schmidt, what's up, Jordan? Don't ever use the full court sideline play ever again. Too clustered and confusing. I'm thinking he's talking about the football type play, line of scrimmage. Yeah, I agree. It never works. It
They
never
were
works.
better at it a few years ago when they did it more consistently. But I feel
I
like
think
every
because it caught
year,
everyone off guard.
yeah. But I feel like every
Because no one
year,
did
maybe
it.
I'm wrong. I feel like Brad like brings it out like every once in a while just to like try it
Yeah.
again, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, while I'm going through the chat here, do you want to give your everyday guy?
Oh, sure. I mean, we've already talked a lot about Ty Rodgers, but I think I want to give it to Ty Rodgers, even though there were 4 other guys that scored in double figures.
Yeah.
14 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 8 points. I mean, yeah, he wasn't the highest scoring guy out there. There were 3 guys that had almost 20. But Ty Rodgers just does so much good on the court. As Philip said, you do not win this game without Ty Rodgers out there. So
Yeah.
I would go with him. How about you?
Because you took
Do you have one?
because you took Ty, I mean, hate doing it, but I'll give it to. Actually, you know who I'm going to give it to? I'm going to give it to Luke Goody.
And
He
his
did
0
go
for
0
6
of
from the field.
6. He did go 0 of 6 from 3, but none of them were bad shots. They're shots that we want Luke Goody taking. And he had 8 rebounds, 3 of them offensive. I think that's a very good everyday guy stat, offensive
I agree.
rebounds.
I
I'm
agree.
going to give it to Luke Goody, just so we don't give it to Coleman, who was the best player on the floor tonight. Logan, say hi to your mom.
Hi, Mom.
Wanted
I don't know if
to
Mom's
throw that
watching. I know
for
Dad
Phil.
was at the game, so he's the one that
Okay.
usually tells me Mom says hi.
Have you been keeping an eye on the chat? Because I'm behind. Do you see anything
I
that you
mean,
want to
I've
bring
seen
up?
a few. Michael was giving us updates on
Yeah.
Underwood. Some comments about Tominaga. Question about Harmon inbounding the ball, which we
A lot of people
addressed.
are giving Ty Rodgers some love right
The
now, which
inbound.
is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of Ty praise. Domask is just a dude. Has to be first team All Big Ten. I think that's a
There was some
conversation
talk. I
worth
think
having.
Hummel said it on the broadcast
I
that
mean,
Marcus is could
I
very well be a first team All Big Ten
I
guy.
think he's certainly making a case for it. It'll be an interesting conversation depending on what happens with Terrence Shannon the rest of the year. But yeah, I think he's certainly put himself in that conversation.
Let's piggyback off Dwayne here. Dwayne Short, our buddy, I think in the Philippines. DGL on Tominaga late in the game based on last game defense play to badger him. Thoughts? I'm going to kind of roll this into one. First half, because they didn't play in the second half, I thought – actually, Dane did play in the second half. He had 6 second-half points. I thought Dane and Dre both provided a lot tonight. Dre only played 2 minutes, but like Dwayne said here, he was like 150 miles per hour that entire time. And Dane's 6 points came at I don't remember when it was, but I remember they came at a pivotal time.
Yeah.
I thought Dane played really well for his short minutes.
Well, I wasn't sure why Coleman wasn't on the floor at that time. It felt like a long period of time where I was looking again, like, does Coleman, is he in foul trouble? Like, what's going on here? But Dane was good in those minutes. Yeah, you said 6 points, 3 boards. I think he had a block in there too around that time. Maybe I could be wrong. But yeah, he was good in his time on the court. The DGL thing on Tominaga, I mean, I can understand that to an extent. I don't know if that's totally the direction we need to go, but I like the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, late in the game, I don't think he's who you want on the court. I don't think he's really a defensive specialist. But I like the thought because at some point you just have to figure something out with a guy like that. I mean, Tominaga he's one of the best pure scorers in this league. He can just shoot the ball. He's Steph Curry. Like, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
He just lights it up. So, I certainly think it'd be worth a shot. I don't know about at the end of the game, but yeah, a little more often, I could see something like that working out.
Dane's first bucket came with 11:49 left. Gave Illinois a 4-point lead. Nebraska went down and made a bucket. Well, they missed a bucket, and then Illinois turned it over, and then they went down, made it a 2-point game. Next possession, Dane hit another one to make it back to 4. Nebraska goes down and scores. And then a couple minutes later, Dane had another. So from 11 in a 2-minute stretch, his first bucket was 11:49 left. His third bucket was at 9:49 left. He got fouled and missed the free throw, but yeah, those were important points there because it was a very much back and forth game, one possession game for Dane. Let's see here. We've had some other. There's a couple people talking about the refs. I don't think they had an impact tonight.
The problem. I saw some of those comments.
21 fouls for Nebraska, 12 for Illinois. So there is a big difference there. But I don't think anything. I mean, I thought the technical was weird to start or that early in the game.
Yeah.
Normally you don't see technicals that early in the game. There were a couple other missed calls that I remember people tweeting about, but I don't feel like they had an impact on much of the game.
No, I agree. I didn't think they were really the problem. I mean, you can always nitpick particular moments, but no, I think overall, I wasn't going to chalk it up to the refs, but I know other people have, and that's fine. Can we talk about Terrence?
Yeah, we can talk about Terrence if you want. I was just going to ask, is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on to next game?
I have a take on Terrence Shannon Jr.
Okay, is it a hot take?
I don't know. Okay. Did you see the video that was circulating on social media a few days ago? I think Chester had retweeted it, of the ball movement from the 04-05 team. There was a clip of, I don't know what game it was. Where they didn't
dribble the ball, but maybe 5 times.
Yeah, it was like 6 dribbles.
Yep.
This team moves the ball pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But Terrence Shannon dribbles the ball way too much. Like,
does he dribble more than a point guard from Louisville last night?
No. That dude.
we'll get to
that little freshman dribbles way too much. But Terrence had some moments tonight, like to a fault, dribbling way too much. Like dribbling into. I understand, like it's the down. It's not even. I'm not talking about the downhill stuff. I'm talking about trying to be a ball handling point guard at the top of the key to initiate offense, and it's too much. And at one point it resulted into at least a couple turnovers. Like, great player, glad he's back. He's helping this team, but like, he just pick up the ball, just pass the ball. Like, I don't know. It's just, I felt like it was a little too much tonight at times. That's my take.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a hot take.
Yeah,
it was just.
I still think he's still feeling things out. He's definitely not where he was.
Yeah, I don't think he's back. Yeah.
What would have
he's
been?
not. He's not at.
I think Missouri was peak. Missouri was peak. Everyone was clicking, and then that's when he got suspended. So
he's not there yet, and he may not get back to that point. Let's just be clear here. Like, there's still a lot going on in Terrence Shannon's head.
Yeah.
So it is certainly possible that he does not get back to peak Terrence Shannon, and if he does not, I do think that limits this team's abilities in March. Yeah. But even Terrence Shannon playing the way he's playing right now is still very good. I mean, he's still an all Big Ten level player, regardless of how he's playing now or how he was playing against Mizzou. But I do think that's a different level that we kind of saw in the second half against Ohio State. And then we maybe saw at times tonight, but he's still doing a little bit too much at times, dribbling the ball too much. 3 for 10 from 3. Like, I know Terrence Shannon's not a knockdown 3-point shooter, but you're taking 10 of those. I don't know. He's not fully back yet. I'm not ready to call Terrence fully back. Sure. Fully back, no.
Right. I mean, he scored double figures every game. He's been back, but he is rusty. Tonight. He's rusty. Next up, they've finally I guess there was some time off between Ohio State and this one a little bit, but full week almost off. Saturday is Michigan State, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, Saturday, Michigan State.
So that one will be at Michigan State. Michigan State team is 14-8, 6-5. What have they done lately? Haven't been paying attention. So they have won 5 of their last 6 since Illinois beat them in Champaign. They won 5 of their last 6. Their only loss was at Wisconsin. So team's playing better. Breslin's always a tough place to win.
It's another quad 1 opportunity.
Brandon
just put in the chat.
Huge Q1 opportunity. It definitely is. Definitely is.
They could use
We've got, let's see. Illinois was 14th. So number 13, Creighton lost Friday night. Number 12, Iowa State lost Saturday. Number 10, Kentucky lost twice this week. Duke, number 7, lost. Wisconsin, number 6, Wisconsin, lost twice. Where do the Illini fall tomorrow in the AP polls?
I mean, a couple of those teams will probably come behind them, but I don't think that everybody will. I mean, we're talking about Duke, who lost to Carolina, Wisconsin, who lost at home to Purdue, Kentucky, who lost to Tennessee. Where are they at right now? Where'd you say 14?
14.
I could see them going up to like
Arizona is losing to Stanford right now.
I would say 10 or 11 would be my guess. Shot in the dark. I don't know. Maybe they squeak inside the top 10. Probably 10 or 11 would be my guess. There will be plenty of movement. I don't disagree. I don't know that they go that high though.
Yeah, I think they're probably
beating 11. Ohio State and barely beating Nebraska at home is not exactly the best resume booster. But wins are wins, especially in this era of college basketball when sometimes wins are hard to come by.
Yep. All right. That's it for Illinois. How was that drive last night? So
it was a strange decision. I'll be honest. I will be open and honest. I made a strange decision last night.
For those of you that don't follow us on social media, I invited some of my buddies down here to Louisville for the Louisville basketball game last night. Logan came with 5 buddies back from Illinois. So we went to the game last night. Game was at 8, Louisville and Florida State, which Louisville won. Don't know how. But Louisville won. They put up 100 points. Getting some shade here. Kaylee throwing some shade. So
yay me.
So my buddies were staying in Southern Indiana at the Caesars Casino Hotel in Southern Indiana. I live, which is west. It's in Indiana, but west of downtown. I live east of downtown. Logan was going to stay with me, and so all day we were like in the middle of that downtown. So, got in. I drove in. Logan met us downtown. Parked at the arena, and we're just there all day. So the game gets over about 10:30, and we were just going to go straight to the casino. So we were going to go west. So for us, it would have been driving 25, 30 minutes west, staying at the casino till who knows when, and then driving another 30, 45 minutes east once we were done at whatever time to go to sleep. So Logan's 10:30. Logan's like, I might just drive to South Bend, which is a 4-hour drive. I was like, you sure you want to do that? Like, that's a 3 a.m. pull up to the driveway. Sure enough, he did. He told us he was going to stay in Indianapolis. What happened? I'll let you take it from there. What happened?
So, yes, at a point very late in the game, I started doing the math as to how long I was going to be spending in the car driving, as you said, from the Yum Center to the casino.
Oh, so you were thinking about this while we were still at the game?
The last couple minutes, honestly. Okay. It was very late in the game when I thought about it. It was shortly before we left, and then when I finally mentioned it to you. And I thought, if I'm going to spend an hour in the car already, plus however long I'm going to spend at the casino, like, I kind of just wanted to start driving home. Because part of it, too, is, like, it was supposed to be really nice here today. So, like, I wanted to be able to, like, enjoy some time, like, outside.
Sure.
And not be in the car all day. I didn't plan to drive all the way home. Honest to God, it did not. I was going to stop somewhere. I was going to get a hotel. I was going to stay with my cousin. I don't know. I didn't really have a plan. It was very impulsive. But I just kind of powered through. So
did you have like coffee or Red Bull or anything, or did
I
you
eventually got a Red Bull? Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I eventually stopped just north of Indy. The first couple hours were totally fine. Like I had no issues getting to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last
Sure.
hour-ish was a little challenging. But
Sure.
no, I made it. Craig, I had a heck of a time yesterday.
That's my next question. So how was the Louisville experience?
It was cool. It was awesome. I'm glad you included me on that because that was awesome. I'd never been in that arena, period. That's such a unique, it's not a unique arena, but like as a college, it just
That's
doesn't.
the first thing you said when we walked in.
This has to be
one of the biggest college arenas.
Yeah, it's just not a college venue. No, like it's just not like venue. Was there any students there? Like it was such a bizarre. I mean, I get it. Louisville sucks.
6-20.
Yeah. So like I'm sure that's obviously a big part of it. It's just a strange environment, but it's great. It's a beautiful arena. Yeah. But no, yesterday was a lot of fun. It was cool to hang out and see you. We haven't really seen each other in person very much, No. Pretty much since we left college. Yeah. There were some.
I know everyone probably thinks that we're like hanging out all the time, and I think after our show on Tuesday, we talked a little bit after we ended the live before we shut down the program, and I was like, outside of my wedding and when I stayed with Logan in South Bend when Illinois played there, I was covering the game for WCIA 2017 or 18.
Yeah.
Outside of those two, like this will be the first time we've seen each other since who knows when. And those two were like at my wedding. We really didn't see each other. I came and said hi, talked to you. We took a picture.
200 people there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the game, it was late. I think we kind of just all went to bed. So yeah, it was the first time maybe since like something in Carbondale that we had hung out.
We talked to each other all the time.
Got to meet some of my buddies that made me the way I am, I guess.
Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah, it was good. And I don't know if he's watching, but a family member had the hookup for us. So thank him for that. He was going to take care of us. He did take care of us for the game, and we were going to do some other stuff, but he was unable to make it yesterday. So we had other stuff planned, but weren't able to get to it. But yeah, it was good. Hung out on Whiskey Row for a little bit before. And then I guess the end of the story is what time did you get home? Just what time did you get home?
I texted you at 3:20.
3:20. Logan gets home. He sends me a text.
This is the best part of the whole story, in my opinion.
And I'm glad.
This
is
the best part of the whole story.
We still got quite a decent audience here, so I'm glad they're hearing this whole story in complete to completion. Logan texted me at what was it? 3:21.
Well, okay. First off, I did not text you. You told me to let you know what I was doing, like if I was going to stop or whatever, and I didn't because I didn't really know what I was doing. I think I texted you when I stopped north of Indy to get gas and get a Red Bull. I think that's when I texted shortly after that when I said I'm just going to go all the way. I didn't even know if you would still be awake. I had no idea where you would be at that point. So I text you then at whatever time, 1:30 or 2 or something.
I'm looking right now. 2:01. So 2:01. Okay. Logan says, I'm going all the way. So you should know.
3/4 of the way home. Yes.
Okay. I said, be careful.
And you said, yes, exactly.
3:18.
Yes.
Logan says, it was a bold move, but I made it back.
And then what happened, Craig?
And I said, glad you made it. You're home, and I haven't even left the casino yet. Or I'm just now leaving the casino. I left the casino at 3:18. Logan drove from Louisville to South Bend.
The entire stretch of the state of Indiana, and Craig was still at the casino. I was happy with my decision at that point.
Yeah, I did say if Logan would have stayed, I would not have stayed out that long. But yeah, I rolled into my house. I would have had no problem with it. I would have honestly had no problem with it. But once you said that, I'm like, I'm glad I did what I did. Yeah, it was quite a night. It was quite.
I didn't blow any money at the casino, so it was great. It was a win-win because I probably wouldn't have won anything because I never do. So it's a win-win.
I will. I did not blow any either because I don't gamble like that. I gamble on sports, but I don't gamble on machines.
There it is.
So, yeah, it was profitable for one of. It was very profitable for one of the guys with us. I will not
really
publicize who that is, but it was a good night with the boys. I'm glad Logan could come. I'm glad the guys from home could come, and I'm glad we could indulge you with that story of Logan driving 4 hours before I get home from the casino. So yeah, it was great. I think that'll do it. We get off here a little later than expected because of the overtime, but a decent time here. We can go finish the Grammys or something before we head to bed. So do you have anything else?
No. We're going to take a nice, well-deserved week off. I need the break just as much as the team does. So,
Yep. We will be back. I assume Saturday. I don't know what we're doing. Oh, we're here. What time's the game though? Because I think we might go back to the Louisville game next Saturday. Hold on, let me check.
Who are they playing?
Georgia Tech. Okay, so it's an afternoon game for Illinois. 2:00. Oh, it's a CBS game.
It is CBS.
2:00 Eastern. So that'll be 1:00 for all of y'all in the Central. Uh-oh. We have breaking news.
Thanks, Kaylee.
What? New Taylor.
Great. I'm glad. I'm not watching. I'm assuming that's something they announced. I'm surprised Allison hasn't blown up my phone from the other room about it. So, great. More Taylor. I love it.
We should be fine. Illinois is at 2. Louisville's at
Super Bowl's
next
Saturday
night. Super Bowl is next Sunday. We'll talk about it. We can talk about it.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Oh, this is great. All right, let's get out of here so we can go listen to some T Swift.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Thanks for watching. Illinois, 3-point win in overtime, but a win's a win. So we'll see you on Saturday for Logan.